Welcome, lazy gamers and lovers of Civ 6. So I've been racking my brain as to which leader to play next as. And while I was basically considering going over my Hall of Fame list and trying to see who I haven't played in a while, I kind of thought, okay, maybe I should do this a little differently. I'm going to basically re-roll or reload 5 different starts and basically create this video analyzing each of those starting locations. And then see if any one of them looks interesting, we will play that or we will consider that leader. Let's just take it as that. So the leader is random right now. It's a standard continents map, deity difficulty, standard game speed. And the only thing I've done is I've removed the Bermuda Triangle from the list. I hate that wonder. It's pretty much useless. It really takes up one useful wonder on the map, and it's I've never seen any games. Neither me, neither the AI, neither a city state has ever managed to use a tile of the Bermuda Triangle and made it useful. It's never happened. So I'm giving that a pass. So the only difference here is the start position the is standard, but the temperature and rainfall is randomized. Just in case we roll as Mali and yeah, I don't want to be. I typically with Mali or even with a monitor, like arid settings and desert settings. So just yeah, I'm not sure what to expect here. I mean, things are going to be a little all over the place. There are no game modes, and we're just going to roll a start, see what we see, analyze the start location, and do that maybe 4 5 6 times, and then decide what to do. Let's see who our first roll is going to be. Okay, yeah, unless the start position is something obscene, I'm not going to play Babylon. So all right, as Babylon, um, of course, the main thing, Eurekas give you the entire technology up front. There is no boost. You just get the deck outright. Extremely strong. Plus, the first time you build a district, you get the lowest or the first level building for free. The only for in one district though. The first time you build it. So like theater squares get a free amphitheater, campuses get a free library, and so on and so forth. Doesn't apply to the government plaza and the diplomatic quarter, um, but it applies to preserves, encampments, pretty much everything, commercial hubs, harbors. Very strong trait here, which really, I mean, getting a first campus as early as possible is extremely valuable for Babylon. The Sabur Gibidum is the unique unit. It's okay. It's like a stronger scout pretty much. But the useful thing about it is it does upgrade into swordsman, I believe, which is makes it a little useful, not like scouts getting into skirmishers and stuff. The Balgam, however, is probably the strongest building. In fact, in the entire game, I would argue, because it's the watermill replacement. You gotta have a city next to the river, I believe, or I'm not entirely sure. Can you build a palgam on a lake if you're on the freshwater? I don't think so. I think you need to be on the river. But every freshwater tile in your city gets one food, and yeah, the palgam gives you housing and production. I think believe like the watermill. The yeah, city must be adjacent to a river. Yep. So building cities on rivers is actually paramount. You might have the odd city on the coast that is not on the river, but Babylon really works with cities along rivers. All right. Okay, let's analyze the start location here. I mean, just off the bat, I know exactly what I would do without question, not even thinking about it. I would. Okay, I'm just gonna put the pin down here. City there. It's a 4 food tile. I don't have any two production tiles to work. I would probably grow to that, or have to buy that stone tile to make it happen. A city here, and I would probably put a city there. And between these two cities, have the synergy of commercial of. Well, I would love to see where the horses are. So Babylon in the perfect world, you do not want to put districts on the river tiles because the river tiles are actually better left unimproved or left without districts. So typically, I would love to have another river somewhere on the side. So that city and then the land between those two cities would typically share the benefits of a government plaza. Similarly, here, I would prefer a city somewhere down here. I think this is fresh water, I believe. Yeah, it's a lake. But again, I want to see more rivers here. But just based on what I see, I think I would definitely put the cities there. I am tempted to do something like this, right? A government plaza, and each city, let's say, builds its campus, right? Or maybe right there, that's fine. And you could put other districts around in this block, but you're really eating up pretty much all the tiles. Because a situation like this here is, I would definitely consider a harbor here and a commercial hub here. Yeah, just for synergy, let's do this. If this was a campus, this was a campus. Let's say this was also a commercial hub. Let's say this was a theater square. Yeah, I mean, however this situation point by the point here is you are eating up river tiles which are benefited by the Palgam. And that is something as Babylon I probably am less inclined to do. If you don't have any other option, it's probably okay to do it. This would I would probably keep it as is, no matter what. But these one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 tiles, I would probably just put farms on them or something. And there would be horses and iron and other things on here, which we would work around. This is turn one. I would move here. I would take a look down, and it's pretty junky down there. But yeah, but I would settle there. Definitely would settle there. I would settle there. I would hope that there is a settleable spot on the river somewhere on this side of the map, maybe to the south, maybe to the east, right? And then, depending on how those cities are, how those locations look, I would plan for a government plaza between those cities, between the capital and one of those cities to manage synergy. Yeah, that's how I would play it. I'm gonna save this. Okay, let's reroll start 2. Ramesses the second. Gain culture equal to 15% of the construction cost when finishing buildings and 30% when building completing wonders. So yeah, I mean you need to be it's a very production heavy setup. You're rewarded for making wonders and you're rewarded for constructing buildings. So generally speaking, like the simple rule of thumb here is avoid faith buying buildings, avoid gold buying buildings. Buildings built with production are have an inherent cultural value to them, which is pretty much Ramses' quality. As Egypt, I mean, as Cleopatra, the Iteru holds here too, which is 15% production towards districts and wonders. If placed next to a river, again another production buff. And yeah, you don't get damage from floods, which is actually pretty huge because if you can settle floodplains with abandon, the Mariano Chariot Archer is decent, but on deity, it's not very useful because it tends to get obsolete pretty fast. Even if you like rush it, you see a close neighbor somewhere and you want to do a Mariano or Chariot Archer rush, you can do it, but then the window of your window of opportunity is very, very tight and they do get obsoleted pretty quickly if the war drags on. The Sphinx is pretty good. The Sphinx you can put down. I believe you can put down on the rivers, but if they're next to a wonder, you get like faith and culture. Normally, you get faith and culture, and it raises the appeal of the tiles around you. But yeah, but if it's next to a wonder, if it give it one culture, if it's on a floodplain, and yeah, you get tourism after flight, and it's pretty good. I mean, kind of like very similar in behavior to the chateau, the French chateau. The chateau needs a luxury next to it, while Sphinx doesn't have any such constraint. You can pretty much build them anywhere, except on snow and snow hills, which is perfectly understandable. All right, let's take a look. All right, we are on a floodplain, but this floodplain is junk until it starts flooding. So a turn zero settle right there would work, or a turn one settle right now. But if I had a choice of taking a turn to settle, can I do something? Can I go somewhere? Yeah, it's hard to tell here. Okay, before we decide to look which tiles, I know that if I don't find any other tile of value, I will be settling here. So I'll move the settler here. Plains up north. Yep, let's go here. Okay. So there is a second river in this area here, which is, it may or may not be a floodplain. I don't think this is a floodplain tile. Nope. But yeah, but I would settle in place. Definitely settle in place. Yeah, we are a little light on resources. Our iron could be here, or maybe even nowhere, possibly. But yeah, but the entire board seems open as to how what you want to do with your district planning here. It's far too early. We don't have enough information to know to decide how to plan this out. Typically, you want to leave your floodplains alone. Yeah, there are very strong wonder options here. Rivers are There are some wonders that can only be built on rivers, which makes this pretty interesting. Yeah, no, not a great spot really to start a game, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and save this. All right, let's look at roll three. All right, Grand Columbia. Grand Columbia is a fun civ to play. You need to plan a few things around with Grand Columbia. So the Commandant General is like the unique great general that Grand Columbia gets, and he has like unique abilities. I probably would need to Google the actual list of abilities that you can get with the Grand Commandant. The more important quality for Grand Columbia is all units have one extra movement, which I mean is like a warmonger's dream here. I mean, with a great general with essentially movement, you can move and shoot with catapults. I mean, you can do that with a great general, but I believe in certain conditions you can do that as long as you have the movement points. You can do that without the great generals as Grand Columbia. I mean, it's pretty OP. There is in the early game, you have so much mobility that you can actually take out neighbors very easily. And yeah, special type of great person only available to Simon Bolivar. Each has unique abilities. Yeah, like it's just a unique great person. The Lanero is it's a cavalry replacement. Basically, yeah, it gets combat strength for every adjacent Lanero. So kind of like the hoplite, but like on horses. Yeah, you have like a cluster of them, and they are really strong together. And yeah, you want to always keep them like within I think 2 tiles or 1 tile of a commandant general, just for that additional effect. If you can manage to do it correctly. Typically, I mean, beelining to cavalry tech and getting the laneros are is pretty strong by itself. And they stay relevant for their abilities. They will stay relevant far longer. But yeah, but there is a window. Outside that window, they will get obsoleted. The hacienda is the tile improvement, the builder ability, and yeah, I don't remember what it gives you gold, production, and housing, and food for every 2 adjacent plantations. Right. So basically, if you have adjacent like 2 plantations, 3 plantations, like just putting the hacienda down on those tiles, kind of like the Outback station, I believe, but that works with pastures, and this one works with plantations. It's an interesting combination. Yeah, I in the games I've played, I definitely built a couple, but I don't think I've really relied on them to power my empire at all. I mean, most of my Grand Columbia games have been so war focused. Yeah, this there is a lot of conflict, and you may not even need to build any haciendas in a game. But yeah, but you want to build them in a cluster too because you get one production for every two adjacent haciendas. Let's see what the start looks like. Okay, so this start is more up my alley because I could settle in place. But this is a volcano, and these woods are gonna get crushed. Or I could move one tile down, settle here, but I suspect just based on how this is set up, this could very well be iron. But there's another reason for moving down here because you can work a 2-2 tile. On this one, I can work a 1-3-3 tile, which is not bad, but the city will not be growing very fast in the early game. So, really, there are two options here: settle in place or move to this plains hill. One of those two spots. And it looks like there are two river systems here. There's the Amazon River and that's the Orinoco River. Okay. So there is a very good chance that there are two dams that go down on this river system. And if there are two dams going down on this river system, I would I would lean towards this city settle spot because okay, so let's say this is a dam and let's say this is a dam. Yeah, I mean right there. This is obscene. Aqueduct? No, I can't build the aqueduct there, I believe. The aqueduct will need to be here. The aqueduct, so if we look at the grid, how do I turn the grid on? Yeah, if you look at the grid or the strategic view, the aqueduct needs to bring water from some edge to the city. So the edge that they share is of course, it can be water, but the aqueduct needs another water line somewhere on this hex to bring the water across to the city, which is why the aqueduct can't go there, right? And yep, with that situation, this would be what, a +8 or +7, a +8 industrial zone. I mean, this situation could work in place too. If you're in place, you can put down. Now, if you're in place, I think you can put down the aqueduct here. So if the city is here, the aqueduct's here, and everything else holds. Similarly, if the city is here, yep. But this +8 will manifest only after you have dams. So the thing to consider with dams is the dams get unlocked at the top of the tech tree at buttress. You can boost it by getting a classical era wonder, but really the path to buttress goes through mathematics and shipbuilding. Mathematics is kind of on track, right? You would get writing sooner, soon. Currency also reasonably soon, and mathematics is a natural outflow from currency to get to. Shipbuilding is kind of out of the way. In fact, if you don't have a coastal settle, you may not even get to shipbuilding. Yeah, getting to dams itself might be a challenge, but once you do, yeah, you have a guaranteed +8 industrial zone. So even without that, it's a +3, which is pretty respectable. And you can definitely put down some other kind of a district here, maybe an encampment. As Gran Colombia, having an encampment as one of your top four districts is pretty okay. Typically, in your entire empire, you want at least one encampment. The only time I would definitely build it in the capital is when I know that I can pivot any sort of a conflict game or a war game into a science game because the encampments give you a late game boost with this card right here, the space race, integrated space cell. 15% production towards space race projects if the city either has a military academy or a seaport. So yeah, and we definitely can't build a seaport there, but having a military academy in a city that has a spaceport is actually pretty important if you're going for science. This would also be okay. My one of my personal peeves is to stay away from volcanoes to settle districts, but this could be a decent holy site. Now, I don't see any situation that this could be a faith game. I mean, this could be a religion game rather. This faith is important. Faith is useful, but getting a religion, keeping a religion may not be. And yeah, but to that end, if that's the situation, if I settle here, I think this would be a pretty decent government plaza. But if I'm putting a dam here and a dam here, I don't want to put a government plaza here because I'm pretty much eating up good tiles that, I mean, city center is already taking over one tile here. The government plaza I would definitely go somewhere else. Not sure where, but somewhere else. That's two districts right there. Or, yeah, YOLO. And this could be a decent campus. In fact, I would say, yeah, the city, we would move to settle here. If you don't move, commercial hub here, actually. It's, yeah, you have your basic 1, 2, 3. I mean, if you're thinking culture as a possible option here, then this will have to change. Yeah, these pins won't make sense if the push is for culture. And as Grand Columbia, typically the first push is never for culture. But yeah, but let's take a peek. Hello. Okay, that's Uluru right there. You can see the U of the Uluru right there. That's Uluru. The settlers also have 3 movement, but I can't cross the river and settle. So, but I would be settling here if I do this. So let's, yeah, do that. Get more visibility and more visibility up the river. Okay. So yeah. So another city up north somewhere. Uluru is okay. Not something that Grand Columbia is going to benefit a lot from. But typically, like, yeah, I wouldn't build this here then because what I would do is I would put a preserve right there. But this is, yeah, the moment I'm thinking I'm stocking preserves, this is not a Grand Columbia game anymore. It just becomes a whole different kind of game. That would be a good tile depending on what's down here. Very interesting. All right, let's re-roll one more. Oh, I gotta save this one. Okay, re-roll. All right, Sundaita Kita. The only thing I hope is we have desert. Mali on a wetlands map is like torture. In fact, it's not even. It's there is no benefit to that. You need, as Mali, you want to be on the desert, not like a monitor where she benefits from being on the edge of the desert. But Mali sure can literally be great in the desert. Like you can just have like a swath of dry arid desert, and Mali's will do really well in that. But yeah, but let's, yeah, briefly discussing Mali. Yeah, you can do cheap gold recruitment of great people, and the markets actually get 2 writing slots. So I mean, yes, I believe Sundaita is a very strong cultural victory contender because you can start like stacking great works of writing very early in your games. And each work of writing gives you 4 gold and 2 production, which means that you are incentivized to get them and keep them basically. The Songs of the Jelly is the yeah, the other Mansa Musa also has this where city centers get 1 faith and 1 food for every adjacent desert, which means if you're in the middle of the desert, you get 6 faith and 6 food right off the bat. You can pretty much pick any pantheon of choice, turn 4 or turn 5. But yeah, but that's the thing. Mali in on like a wetlands map on a floodplain is disaster. But yeah, but desert floodplains actually are pretty good. If Mali can manage it, or if this leader can manage it. There is a debuff here where mines get 1 less production, but they get 4 extra gold, which means you tend to be like a gold focused Civ, and stuff is expensive when you're the building, like production towards buildings or training units is like costs. Yeah, so generally you're incentivized to do stuff with gold, buy with gold, and use gold. Production is like conventional production builds and attempts are, yeah, you don't get rewarded as much as Mali. But still, I mean, the industrial zones still have value because they do earn you great engineer points. And in the long run, they will give you the production, but not as much as other civs do. The Monte Carlo cavalry is pretty okay. It's a knight replacement. And yeah, trader units are immune to being plundered if they're within 4 tiles of a multicolored cavalry. Yeah, useful, but again, situational. And combat victories provide gold equal to 100% of that unit's base combat strength. Okay, so again, more gold. The Saguba, however, is pretty much the game breaker for Mali. So, like, just look at this. We need great writers, so we are building theater squares. We need we have a huge faith benefit, so typically building a holy site. And Sagubas are the commercial hub, unique commercial hub. So those three districts are pretty much the one, two, three districts that go down in every city that Sundai Takita settles. And the Saguba is, I think it needs to be a district unique to Mali, specializing in finance and trade, that replaces the commercial hub. Buildings districts 20% cheaper to purchase with gold and faith in this city. So as long as you build one, stuff just gets cheaper, and you get a gold bonus for adjacent holy sites. And yeah, if you're on the you need to be on the river next to a holy site. And yeah, it just gets crazy. You get another gold bonus for being having two district adjacent tiles districts. Again, you want to build sagubas, build holy sites, possibly build theater squares, and put them in tight clusters around your empire. Now let's see if we see desert or not. Oh, good God. Yeah, yeah. It's a play. This is not even playable. I mean, even if I'm not Mali, I'm not liking the start. But yeah, okay. Let's take a peek here. Okay, we have three desert tiles, and there is a. Okay, that's a good tile. But yeah, but this is not a desert centric map. Turn two settle on this desert tile. Either of these desert tiles is an option. A turn three settle on this rice. Is it turn three? Turn three is too long. Turn three is too much. One, two, three, four. This is just bad. Yeah, this is just bad. Okay. For Mali, this is bad. Let's analyze this as if this was not Mali, right? It's pretty decent actually, right? There's a pretty strong campus here. That's two. Oh, it's not strong. But I mean, it's two is better than one or zero, but it's not strong. Yeah, I mean, except for these four tiles, you have an entire field open here. I'm willing to bet the horses are either on one of these three tiles. So generally, don't want to walk too far away from this area. I think it's a bad spot, but I could totally settle in spot. It's no, this is not a great start at all. This is in fact actually a below average start even for most civs. Maybe we get lucky with horses and iron and things kind of just change. But a game like this needs RNG help. Yeah, the benefits that Mali is dependent on, they don't exist because Mali off the desert is production challenged. He will be gold challenged. He will be faith challenged. Well, at least if he moves and settles here, he will have at least one faith. Which means even if it's a turn two settle, I think one of these tiles needs to be the city center. And then God knows where the second city will go and the third city will go. But yeah, this is a very weak faith game overall, which just makes the entire play weaker for Mali. Yeah, I'm gonna save this still, but we'll definitely reroll for the next one. Let's see who we get this time. Sejong. I've played Sejong a couple of months ago. Sejong is strong. I mean, actually, both Korean leaders are really, really strong. Although the Hangul quality is not as strong as I think Seonduk's flat culture boost that she gets, culture and science buff that she gets. The Hangul is, you gotta min max this ability a little bit, where you want to be crossing over into the new era, always maximizing your science and culture, or your science basically, to kind of get the most culture out of it. When you're playing the game, I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't remember what I was supposed to do there. It is an easy thing to forget. But I mean, even if you don't pay attention or try to max that value out, it is still a strong culture buff that Sejong gets. But I mean, I don't think Sejong needs anything to do with culture to win overall a science game. Because yeah, but this is like Korea is probably the best Civ that focuses on one victory type and just goes for it. I mean, turn one as Korea, you know you're going for a science victory and nothing else because it's going to come easy to you. All mines get one science, and farms get one food if they're adjacent to a CO1. And a CO1 can only be put on hills, and the CO1 cannot be surrounded by districts. So, kind of very similar to the oppidums of Gaul, where you do not want other districts around them or around the city center, I believe. I think I'm forgetting that. As CO1s, you do not want any districts around CO1s. So the CO1s, like three cities in a triangle formation, will typically put their CO1s between each other on hills if it can manage it without touching each other, and no other districts go in the middle of that. And that's how you got to plan out Sejong. Pretty fun and it's challenging depending on the map. I mean, the worst kind of map is like a small continents, like a map where you don't have enough land to kind of plan. Kind of things can get wild there. The Watcha is okay. It's a field cannon replacement. Yeah, but it can't move and attack, which kind of makes it more of a defensive unit overall. But the CO1 is the strong, is like campus replacement. It gives you a flat 4 science. There's no adjacency. Like you can't improve the adjacency over time. It's just going to be flat 4 all the time. Which, like, even if you have 6 cities, that's like 24 science just from adjacency. But you do not want to put adjacent districts to that, is because you get a negative science for every adjacent district. So yeah, don't do that. All right, let's see. So what is this? Freshwater, plains, hill, rainforest. Okay, yeah. So CO1s don't benefit from mountains. So yeah, we don't see enough in this situation here. North, I think, go south. Oh, good God. Yeah, I don't know. This this is a tough one. This is just stupid. So we want to build farms and mines next to the CO1, which means the CO1, ideally the CO1, the best CO1 is like right there, right where our thing is. If we put it here, we the mountains can't be improved. We could put it there, but again, there's one mountain tile there. But yeah, but this is the best CO1. But this CO1 here means there is nothing else that goes on this land, which means, yeah, no districts. So what do you do? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at a turn 2 settle no matter what. Or if I settle in place, I would have to hope that there is a tile up here where I can put the CO1 on. And these tiles will stay open for districting, which is probably which is probably what should happen then. Turn 2 settles when you don't know what to see is kind of challenging. So yeah, so that's how we would do it. Alternatively, if we can't do it like this, right, right, if we can't put on any one of these tiles, then I think this tile is as good as any. The only thing is I would need mining first, so I can't beeline to. In fact, as a safety measure, I will beeline to mining first, anyways. But yeah, settle in place and plan that out. All right, let's save this. Let's do one more. This is kind of fun. Hope we get someone that I haven't played in recent memory. Yeah, I played him last week. Well, let's take a look at the Saya. This is yeah. So Menelik, you want to settle cities on hills. Plan your districts around rock hewn churches, which can't be adjacent to each other. And Menelik is a very strong. It's a culture win push here. There is you can probably do other victory types, but the culture wins are or culture pushes are so natural and easy for Menelik. However, I mean there are no game modes available. In the game that I played, I had heroes and legends and secret societies. And Void Singers was just obscene. With the kind of faith that you generate with Menelik, Void Singers, the chorus promotion of Void Singers just gets it's a crazy multiplier. And yeah, we don't have that in this situation here. So it wouldn't be as OP as that game, I guess. But still, I mean, pretty OP overall. Yeah, like I mean, in that last game, all I did was build rock hewn churches, had my religion up, and had Void Singer's chorus, and that was pretty much driving my faith. I also had like preserves all over the place, which definitely helped, but I could have done without them. In that game, instead of preserves, if I had chosen to build theater squares, the victory would have happened like 20 turns sooner or more, or even sooner than that. It was pretty crazy. But in the Rockune Church basically gives you one faith and then one faith for every adjacent mountain tile. So like a hilly map is extremely conducive to these tiles, along with the faith, and that faith basically becomes culture, tourism at flight, which means you reach flight and your tourism just bumps or jumps rather. Pretty crazy. And you can get faith from trade routes, and there's just so much faith coming in from all over the place. Yeah, but yeah, look at that. So, just off the bat, a Rockyun church there is +7 faith. So, that would be a 2 food, 1 production, 7 faith tile right there. Because there are hills everywhere and mountains, right? So, even this would be, I think, the same. Yeah. Okay. Staying in place is a 2-1 city. Moving onto the stone is a 2-2 tile. So, that's pretty much what I would consider. And you want to be settling on hills because of the benefit where receive science and culture equal to 15% of your faith in cities founded on hills. So, just for context, now you can't build rock hewn churches adjacent to each other. But imagine if this was like you don't we're not worrying about districts here. But let's say there are two rock hewn churches. And these are 2-1 tiles, so they are not bad. Like you can definitely work them. Your growth would be a little challenged, but this production would be a little challenged. But yeah, imagine you're getting 14 faith. Just because you settled on here, you get 15% of that 14, which is what, two? About two? Yeah. You get two science and two culture just for working these two tiles. And it'll just keep scaling up and up and up. And I would honestly do this a rocking church here and probably put a, well, depend, let's see. Yeah, anyways, this the exact arrangement we can be juggled because I have a feeling one of these would be a good holy site. But yeah, no. But my lean right now is to settle on this tile here, and it should. Okay, so this is a coast, and probably go north and check things out. Okay, so yeah, this would be strong because I would move here. I hope there is no luxury, a sea luxury there, but I would put a harbor there. I would put a commercial hub there, and another city somewhere south of here would also put its commercial hub right there. Synergy. One commercial hub. The commercial hub itself, the harbor itself is like +1, which is pretty weak. But the commercial hubs here are +5 each. It's very, very strong. And yeah, this would be a good start. I think this start location is very conducive to Ethiopia because of the hills. There are lots of hills in the area. Pretty strong. All right, save this. All right. Yeah, we basically just re-rolled 6 different starting with random civilizations. Yeah, some are good, some were definitely playable, some were just outright bad. While I think about who to play next, and we can plan something out. I'm gonna keep these save files anyways. I'll put up the save files or add them to the video description, just so if anybody wants to roll with it, go for it. That's it. Thank you for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for the next one. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe for updates on my games. And if you're already subscribed, my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you.